Game preview, Orange Bowl style. Good times. Welcome in for the On3 Orange Bowl preview. You see the man right there. He is Brent Hubbs of Volquest, of course, and we've had a great opportunity to talk to him all year long. And it brings me to the big picture stuff here right off the bat, Brent. First of all, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate you. Been a great year for Tennessee, a fun year for Tennessee. This is going to be a weird game, though, for both teams. These two teams don't look like they did in the regular season. So how are you sizing this up big picture?
Well, you're exactly right. I mean, Tennessee's without Hendon Hooker. They're without Jalen Hyatt, the Blitnikoff Award winner. They opt out. Miles Murphy's out for Clemson. Obviously, DJ's gone at quarterback. They're playing a freshman. So these are very unique. It's a very unique game, as you mentioned, because both these teams don't look like they did in October. Clemson certainly feels more optimistic, I think, about the direction they're going offensively. Tennessee says all the right things, but this one's all about quarterback play to me. Can K. Kublik, who played well in the ACC game against a really bad North Carolina defense, can he do that against Tennessee? And then how does Joe Milton play? Here's Joe Milton's opportunity. He's patiently sat and waited. He's had a month to get ready. Can he perform against a Clemson defense and a defensive front that's been good all year long?
Yeah, and I'm curious too. You mentioned the first part is obvious, right? We talk about the quarterback. What a shame for Hendon Hooker and an incredible season that he had, and we all know that. But also, that second part of that conversation or talking point at wide receiver without Jalen Hyatt makes that task all the more difficult for Joe. And I'm curious. Give us an idea of what the other receivers, for those that haven't seen a ton of Tennessee football, like give me an idea of best nickname in sports and Squirrel White, what kind of role he's going to play tonight.
Well, he's going to start tonight. He'll be the slot receiver replacing Jalen Hyatt. He's a different player than Jalen Hyatt. Okay, Squirrel's the nickname for a reason, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's a small guy. He's slight in build. He's quick as a cat. He's not that vertical. He is a vertical threat, but you can throw it to him 5 yards and he's got a chance to make somebody miss more than Jalen Hyatt, who's a long strider. But Hyatt obviously can get behind everybody, which is what all the big plays were for him this year that resulted in that Bolitnikoff award. So they'll use Squirrel White in a different way in the slot receiver. It'll be a little bit more Velus Jones like it was, year one for Tennessee than it was year two with Jalen Hyatt. And then on the outside, you've got the Southern Cal transfer, Brew McCoy, who's really had a solid year for Tennessee. When given opportunities. And he's had more opportunities when Cedric Tillman's been out and they've been banged up a little bit. So he'll be a focal point on the outside. Then the other guy is Ramel Keaton, who's quietly filled in very nicely for Cedric Tillman. He had a big catch in the Alabama game on that last drive. He had a great diving catch against Florida. He's produced well when called upon. So we'll see. But it's easy for Keaton and McCoy to produce when Jalen Hyatt's in the slot getting all the attention in the middle of the field. So how do teams defend Tennessee now? Do they feel like they can jam Squirrel White at the line of scrimmage? They don't have to give as much help in the middle of the field. They can take those safeties and roll them outside the hash and give them more help on the outside receivers. That'll be a little bit of the chess game tonight between Clemson's defense and Tennessee's offense. What are the adjustments there with both those teams looking at that personnel that way?
Brent, the other aspect, too, while we're staying on offense that I find really, really fascinating about this game is the fact that Clemson did a real good job statistically against the run, but the better teams all ran on Clemson. And while they rushed the passer well, they're missing key players, as we alluded to right at the outset with Miles Murphy and even linebacker Trenton Simpson, real good player there, too. So I'm curious, Tennessee running the ball to ease pressure tonight off that passing game, perhaps? Do you see that being a point of emphasis? Because it seems to me, just looking at the tape of these two teams, that Tennessee can run the ball against Clemson.
Well, I think Tennessee has to run the ball, and I think they have to be a little bit stubborn about it, to be honest with you, Jeff. I don't think that they can get caught up in, the first drive or two, they don't move the football on the ground, and they kind of abandon this thing, and it becomes just a 7-on-7 type game. Tennessee has to stay committed to running the football. One of the key indicators for Tennessee, and this comes from the Mike Leach tree, is it going to be split safety or is it going to be single safety high? If it's split safety, then the box empties out and Tennessee counts numbers. They like to run the football with inside zone. And that's been the mainstay for their run game. And it's a run game that's averaging 200 yards a game. Yeah. They've run the ball well. If they go single safety high, then Tennessee feels like they can work the middle of the field in the passing game. So the question is going to be, does Clemson say, hey, we're going to take away the run. We're going to crowd the box, play single safety high, and make Joe Milton beat us with skill throws in the middle of the football field? Or is Clemson going to say, hey, you know what? We're not going to let you run by us and give up anything big down the field. So we're going to play split safeties and see if we can stop the run with our base front. That'll be the first chess match you see. If you see Tennessee running the ball early, there's a good chance they're in a single safety look. Clemson is, and Tennessee's going to attack that. If it's split safeties, then look for Tennessee. If it's split safeties, look for the run. If it's single safety, then look for Tennessee to try to throw the ball and get some matchups there where they can win some one-on-ones vertically down the field.
Brent, what do you expect as we flip sides of it here from the Tennessee secondary in this game against a young quarterback in Cade Klubnik? It's a weird matchup. Again, we talk about these two teams looking a little different, but also some of the matchups are hard to get a read on because the Vol secondary struggled this year. We all know that. That was the weakness of the defense. But this Clemson passing attack was fairly anemic. A lot of people at Clemson will tell you that's because the quarterback wasn't very good. I don't know what the answer is. Maybe we'll get some answers tonight. How do you expect that matchup to play out?
Well, I don't think Clemson's as dynamic at receiver as they've been in years past. And I think that's part of the reason why they've struggled in the passing game. I don't think DJ played well all year long, but I think part of the reason why Clemson didn't just bury him on the depth chart earlier in the year wasn't just that the freshman Cade Klubnik wasn't ready. I don't think they felt like they had a lot of weapons on the outside that they could do a lot of things with in the passing game anyway, which is why they threw the ball to Will Shipley. He's the third leading receiver on the team. Tight end's the second leading receiver on the team. They're not really they're not the same Clemson we've seen in years past with the wide receivers. So the question then is, how does Tennessee elect to play it? Tennessee's been a bad zone team on defense in the secondary. Okay, it's been gaping holes. Their linebacker drives haven't been good. Too much cushion on the outside. They've given up a lot of easy throws. So do you come after the quarterback and try to get to him? And Cade's got good legs, right? He showed that in the North Carolina game. So if you play a lot of zero and man coverage, you turn your back to him. If you get out of your rush lanes, he's going to convert 3rd and 6 on you because there's the middle of the field open there. I think Tennessee's got to mix it up, but I think Tennessee's got to be aggressive. Tennessee has just not shown the ability to get home with a front four, other than against some weak offensive lines where they've been able to do some twist and stunts. They had 5 sacks against LSU. They were all off of all off of games, right? They were twist and stunts. Yeah. That's how they got there. I don't think Clemson's offensive line is going to give a bunch of that stuff up. Tennessee will try some of that tonight, but I think Tennessee's going to have to bring extra people to try to pressure the quarterback and get it out of his hands quickly.
Good news for Tennessee, though, is, and maybe not a lot of people realize this because they see some of the numbers that Tennessee's given up. Tennessee's good against the run. And good against the run in a very physical conference is saying something. I think they'll be good against the run tonight. Do you? Will Shipley, a big key to what Clemson does. You just mentioned him, but that's a nice matchup for Tennessee.
It is, and Tennessee's been really good against the inside stuff. You know, they between the tackles, they've been good. South Carolina got them a little bit on some jet sweeps. They got them on some outside runs. Tennessee's got to run sideline to sideline well. They do not have Jeremy Banks, their inside linebacker, playing tonight in this game. Shipley's an interesting guy because, standing next to him out of pads, and I'm not picking on him, he's just not this massive human being like you think he would be. But he's got a real good body lean leverage. He's got a nose for the first down marker. He's got a nose for the end zone. The guy's a tougher runner and plays more physical than his size. So Tennessee's going to have to tackle well. Jeff, I think tackling in bowl games is always an X factor. You have no idea what a team's going to look like tackling somebody. We've seen some struggle tackles in the bowl season already. Yeah. How does Tennessee play on the edge? If I'm Clemson and I'm attacking Tennessee tonight, first thing I'm doing is I'm throwing some swing passes out there to Will Shipley, and I'm going to see if Tennessee's linebackers can get out there. I want to see if Tennessee's safeties react the right way and get downhill to stop that swing pass stuff, or if Clemson can pick at Tennessee with Shipley out of the backfield with basically an extension of the run game to get on the perimeter. I will not be surprised at all if that's the direction Clemson goes to start this game. He gets the quarterback settled in with some easy throws, and it gets the ball in the hands of their best player in space.
Final thing, Brent, big picture here. How do you see it playing out? Low scoring, high scoring, shootout, close game. You like Tennessee's chances? Give me your final thoughts on this matchup. It's one of my favorite of the bowl season.
Yeah, I think it's intriguing because there's as much unknown in this game as there is in any game out there. It says it's going to be pretty high scoring, I think, because I think Tennessee's going to be able to move the ball some. But it all gets down to Joe Milton. Is Joe Milton going to hit those open receivers vertically down the field? If he does, then Tennessee's got a chance to put up a lot of points. If he's off, he was 1 for 8 against Vanderbilt in the rain, in the wind, of balls of 20 yards plus. He's got to complete some of those vertical shots because that's Tennessee's offense. They want to run it. They want to lull you, and then they want to throw it over your head. He's got to make those plays. If he does, Tennessee's going to win this football game. If he doesn't make those plays, then Tennessee's going to have a hard time tonight.
All eyes on the quarterback position. Brent, you guys do the best work there at Volquest. You in particular are fantastic. I appreciate your time, your candor all year long. Enjoy covering the game tonight. Be well, sir.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year. Take care.